So Shaq is upset that he's never mentioned in the GOAT conversation. Says get to him. How do I feel about that? I think he should be. I've said that before. If you come to my channel and we talk basketball, he should be. I mean, him and Michael Jordan are tied for they have three of the highest scoring averages in finals history. They represent six of the top 10 ever. Let that sink in. Think about how many great players have played. And these two guys who three-peated in the finals have six of the highest. So he's in the same conversation with Michael Jordan. So I don't know what else you want. Will Chamberlain is not, Bill Russell is not, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is not, Hakeem Olajuwon is not, Tim Duncan is not, Kobe Bryant is not. LeBron isn't, Steph Curry, Durant, they're not. Dwayne Wade is not. I can name you, he's not. You can sit there and say what you want. I don't make no apologies about it. Actually, Skip Bayless, who I don't usually agree with, but I agree with him. Shaq should be in the top four players ever, as far as my money goes, because his dominance in his window. I know some people will use the way his career ended or how things went, but if we're talking about peak for peak, you ain't got too many people that you can go in the history of basketball and say had a bigger peak than him. He got robbed of about 3 or 4 MVPs because he played with Kobe, and then they didn't even give it to him the cold one in Miami with Nash. Think about it. This man could have had at least 3 MVPs in LA, one in Miami, and maybe one in Orlando. Maybe. I mean, he got robbed about 4 or 5 MVPs in the regular season. How might that impact it? He was robbed out of that. So that's how I look at it. If they had the East Coast, West Coast thing, he probably got about 4 or 5 league MVPs to go along with 4 or 5 championships. When you look at the totality of his dominance, you can't find too many people that have been more dominant than him. So he should be mentioned. Because once you get into Magic and Bird and Jordan, he belongs in that conversation with those guys and like that with Tim Duncan. That's how I look at it. Bill Russell had more wins, had a better stacked team. I give you that. Will Chamberlain, more athletic. I'm not going to argue that. What I say was a better player than what Shaquille O'Neal did come clutch time? No, can't say that. Because Shaq had the rings and he had less talent. Wilt played on two of the all-time greatest teams ever. Shaq had one team that won 6, 7 games. He did win a lot at once upon a time, but he wasn't on what I call stacked great rosters. He never really even had a legit point guard, if you think about it. Imagine he'd have had a point guard that had hit him when he was in his peak, in his prime. There's no telling what history would have looked at, So that's a fact. And when he had the right coaches, he was dominant between Phil Jackson and Pat Riley. Look at the trademark. So that does play a big part in how everything is. Kareem had the most unstoppable shot, and I can make a case for Kareem being one of the greatest up in that argument. Yes. I'm not saying that I can't say Kareem and then I saying that they're better than him, but he is valid to be a top 5 player ever based on peak and prime and what he represented, what he did. And he was a better player in that Lakers run than Kobe was. I think going to be a lot of revisionist history, and I say rest in peace to Kobe, and I thought a lot of Kobe. But let's be realistic. Shaq stirred that boat. He steered that wheel. And you cannot downplay that. Yeah, they're going to, but it's just not the fact. And then people can talk about work ethic and all that. Did the man three-peat? Did the man win 3 straight finals MVPs? Did he not win 4 chips? Was he not in 6 finals in a decade run time? Was he not a multiple all-star and an all-star MVP, league MVP? You name it, credentials. Maybe not to your liking, but let's just say I can think of a lot of people who wish they had the half of what he had. The half. How might Patrick Ewing's career be looking if he had the half of Shaquille O'Neal? Karl Malone's career, the half of Shaquille O'Neal's career. So we can go on down the line. He dominated. They changed. And another thing, too, when they changed the course of the game based on your presence, that's already automatically, especially if you're a multiple winner like him, you're automatically top 5. Now, the only other guy that I've seen the last 30 years they changed the rules for was who? Steph Curry. And Steph's on the other end of top 10 for me, but Shaq's top 5. So we go by that, you automatically one of the true all-time greats. But there is guard happy side. They don't give big men their love. They never gonna give big men their love. But Shaq definitely belongs in the conversation. I mean, he's got credentials to speak for it. So, you know. And that's a shame that he doesn't he knows that big men don't never get no love. But he was the most crossover engaging invited big man ever. Because the others didn't cross over like he did. Not get that kind of love. I know some people gonna mention Moses Malone won 3 MVPs and Kareem had done all that. They weren't as welcomed in as Shaq was. Shaq was ushering a different era for the bigs. But they still shut him out the gate when they talk about they like to revolve everything around Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. And I'm here to tell you, Jordan's the only one that I could make the case over Shaq out of them two. I take Shaq over LeBron and Kobe. Peak for peak, prime for prime. But again, it all depends on how you're looking at it, though. Just saying. And I'm talking about when he was the lit alpha. He's a true alpha. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another share if you like. Hit that membership. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay real, stay woke. I'm out one time. Peace.